Imagine your blood pressure.
Just speculation, but I
Yes,
was
right.
interested to get Chris's take on it.
Yeah, that's too bad he's not here, because
Yeah. There's so many F-35 critics, so it's hard to, it's like, yeah, it's still an early, it's an early weapon system, but,
Was it kind of a boondoggle, was it F-35 or not?
oh, yeah. But the costs have come way down. Yeah, it's a long story. We can go all the way back to Eisenhower and his view on the military-industrial
The complex, well, yeah. I agree with him. That's why we're in Ukraine.
Yep.
Raytheon.
Yep. That was his whole four-year platform and his retirement speech, and it's like we just forgot about it.
Uh-huh. Well, yeah, he did.
I know. He
In
won
fact, I
that.
listened to it. It did a couple years ago.
I do too. I send people to YouTube like every once in a while just to them because
It was a warning.
They forget about that. Yeah.
It was a warning.
I know, me too.
If we're not careful, Black American's going to be telling us what airplane to buy and what war to fight. Oh, wait a minute. It's too late. All right. So 6:30? Yeah, it's 6:30. We're not normally this casual. I'm just kidding.
You always give us fair warning that we're...
Okay.
Yeah,
We're recording.
especially when it's full of people. Tina's not even here
Here we
tonight.
go.
She's coming.
Okay, good.
She's coming. She went...
A reserved seat.
Yep. She wanted me to save her seat. She was worried about the crowds.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Planning Commission meeting tonight. We're going to start with a word of prayer from Member Wilson, and then if you would please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Our Father in heaven, we bow ourselves before you. We're grateful for the opportunity we have to gather together as a community in the capacity in which we serve. We're truly grateful for the opportunity we have to live here in this community and to help serve our fellow neighbors. We also invite your Spirit to attend us in this meeting tonight, that we may be able to be aware of what is being proposed and how it will affect other people, and that we may be able to make wise decisions in that capacity. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we've all had a chance to look at the agenda. If there's no questions, we'll take a motion to approve.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any conflicts of interest to declare for anything, any member of the Planning Commission for anything on the agenda tonight?
Again, no conflict of interest. I should probably just push a button, but we have discussions regarding water rights and stormwater with Wasatch Peaks Ranch.
Okay. Thanks for that. Anyone else? Okay, so now we're going to go into a period of public comment. So there's no public hearings on the agenda tonight. So for all of the public who's in attendance tonight, just as a reminder, there's an opportunity at the beginning of each meeting to comment on anything in the county, good or bad. Good, bad, or indifferent. Or the state of the economy, if you so choose. Anyway, any comments from anybody from the audience? Nope. Haven't seen none. We're going to move out of public comment and on to item number 6 on our agenda. Wasatch Peaks Ranch Phase 1A Plat Amendment.
This is for application number 22.055 for Wasatch Peaks Ranch Phase 1 Plat Amendment. They are requesting approval to add some additional lots into Phase 1 that were not shown on the original plat, and to modify some of the other areas of the original plat, as described in your discussion. Their development agreement allows them 750 dwelling units. They are well within that number with these changes. Basically, they're adding a few more townhome lots into this plat and modifying some of the open spaces. We have reviewed it, the engineers reviewed it, the surveyors reviewed it, the fire reviewed it. We don't have any comments So staff is recommending approval.
Okay. I'll just pass on. You guys probably have some questions too. The only question I had was, for some folks that weren't here tonight, just to clarify that the development agreement was for 750 units. This doesn't give them any more than that 750. I just wanted to clarify it.
No.
And I think you did, but.
This is just moving units around.
Yep. Any other questions?
Yeah, if I might, I don't remember the original agreement well enough to remember. How many townhomes were approved originally?
The original development agreement had specific amounts per area, and those were clearly defined in the development agreement. Moving 3 townhomes into this area from another area doesn't change those.
I didn't think it did. I was just curious how many in the original. Do you know
I
how
don't
many?
know the total number off the top of my head, but I know that there were multiple areas, and each area had a certain number of single families, certain number of townhomes.
Each area has townhomes in it?
I think the ranch area, and maybe Brian can talk a little bit about this, but there's the ranch area that's furthest to the east that I don't think had any smaller lots, but.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Any questions?
I can't think of anything.
Debbie?
No?
No? We don't have to hear from the applicant if you guys don't have any further questions.
We drove all this way, you might as well let him.
Well, you're welcome to, but I mean,
I have nothing to
I
add.
believe
John's
me.
done a great job.
I would like to ask the same question of you. How many townhomes were originally approved by them?
So, in this, Brian Nestroff with Wasatch Creek Ranch, thank you for having me this evening. In this area, the DA for this general area, which are the D parcels, has a count of 74 multifamily in that general area where this is taking place, so.
And is that true that each phase has some townhomes in it?
I think there's one more area that has some, in addition to this area. Yeah. It's pretty much concentrated more in the central area.
And then how many were originally scheduled for the project townhomes, do you know?
About that, yeah, 74.
74?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Sure.
Okay. If there's no more questions, we'll take a motion.
Okay, I'll read it.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I move we recommend approval to the County Commission for the WPR Phase 1 Plat Amendment, application number 22.055, located at 4312 Morgan Valley Drive, based on the findings and with the conditions listed in the staff report dated October 27, 2022.
Okay, we have a motion for positive recommendation. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Unanimous, motion passes. Okay, item number 7, Rome. Thank you.
This is for application number 22.060 for the Rome Townhome Site Plan. This is in response to the Rome Townhomes and Single Family Subdivision plat that went through in September. The applicant got the site plan together and brought it forward to you. We have reviewed the lighting plan, we've reviewed the site plan as well as the parking and the landscaping. It appears that from our review that they meet all the minimum standards for the site plan review. Engineering, I do not believe engineering had any comments, and as such, we are recommending approval of their site plan.
Sorry, let me just catch up.
There's 2 motions for this one, sorry. The other item that they needed to get approval of from the planning commission is the ability to use stucco on the townhome buildings. Because they're in the town center, the town center requires that certain materials need planning commission approval, and stucco is one of them.
For the homes?
For the townhomes, not the single families. So there's two different motions that I put together at the end of the staff report. One of the motions is for the site plan application itself, and then the other motion is for the stucco material.
Sorry, my computer's been slow. Pretty graphic intense.
What is required again? For the town center?
For certain materials, if they are to use those materials on the buildings, they need your approval to do that.
And they say, yeah, it said stucco was to be secondary or an
An
accent.
accent, yeah.
But I don't, to me, it looks like a lot more than,
That was going to be my question. I think the original intent was for stucco to be an accent, so you'd use mixed materials or whatever.
so I don't know what's considered.
Yeah, like in the picture, it looks like it's mixed, so do we have to approve any stucco use, or?
That would be up to you. I would suggest talking to the applicant about his reasoning for
Yeah.
using stucco in the first place. Probably has to do with material availability.
What?
I know stucco requires, having lived in Arizona,
Mhm.
stucco requires a lot of maintenance. So maybe the applicant can speak to that.
Okay. So, back to the site plan portion of it. Is the site plan normally does it normally come at this point?
Typically, site plans should be done before, because given the site plan requirements of landscaping, parking,
Right.
lighting, the amenities, things like that, the subdivision plat coming before that may be required to change because of the location of the buildings, depending on if you have to shrink them, reduce the number that you're proposing, things like that. So typically, the site plan should be first. I don't know if the county ever followed Chapter 4 or when they stopped following Chapter 4, but Chapter 4 for multifamily, in this case townhomes, requires site plan approval to be approved by the land use authority, which is the county commission. So it has to come to you for a recommendation, and then to county commission for approval.
But we only have really one set of townhomes in the county. And
There's other multifamily. There's a townhome project on the south side of Old Highway Road
Right.
to the east, or to the west.
To the west.
that's what we're talking
I
about.
think that's the only one.
That's the only one.
Yeah.
And
Morgan City, but not in the county.
and whether the site plan was done for that, it's been so long.
Well, it's not just for multifamily, it's also for
Commercial.
commercial and industrial, as
Right.
well as, and there's a whole list of things that would require site plan review.
Oh, okay. So any questions for staff? You want to,
So
excuse me?
if we decide we disagree with stucco, what were the original default materials that they were using? Do you know?
You would have to ask the applicant.
all right.
The design of their townhomes shows stucco, so I don't know what
The code lists what they can use.
Yeah, so I was going to look that up, but you probably
It's,
have it.
well, yeah, it's 8-5, maybe you want to bring that up.
Yeah. Eight dash
5C dash 7 III. 85C7.
non-residential and mixed-use design centers. Okay, yeah. One second, let me just look through this real quick.
You're fine.
Maybe you can read it, or at least, the materials.
Yeah, so, let's see, let's see. Variation, non-residential buildings, that's non-residential.
Look at under F.
Building materials, majority of each facade, 51% or more of the wall area, excluding windows and doors, should be constructed of the following hard surface building materials: brick, stone, treated or split-face decorative block, fiber, cement siding and panels, wood, concrete, or other durable building material as approved by the Planning Commission. Stucco, EIFS, or untreated concrete block may be allowed by the Planning Commission as an accent or secondary material only.
So if I may point out, the language in that code is not mandated. It
So-
says should and may, not shall. So unless you have a really good finding of fact to deny it, I don't know how you could.
The first one is a shall. The majority of each, excluding windows and doors, shall be constructed.
Yeah.
The majority,
Yeah. Of each facade.
but the
And
second
that's-
was may.
The next one is that we may be allowed,
Yeah, so it shall be 51% or more of the following materials, and it, or excuse me, it shall be, and then it may be this.
We may.
We may approve it.
Well, 51% of it shall be.
And-
Correct. Shall be
So the other 49%,
could be without even coming to us. Well, I see,
You know, if we want to use stucco, then, yeah, they have to come to us.
right. Yeah, we'll ask, I just want to get it straight in my head. The Planning Commission may approve metal as an exterior, vinyl siding and standing seam metal are prohibited for use as exterior wall. Okay, so it's really just about the balance and, okay.
And when it says the majority, the 51% of the facade, is the facade the whole front of that block of buildings, or is facade each? How, you know how that's,
you mean four-sided architecture?
yeah, whatever that's called? Is that a facade, just the one,
Typically, the facade is the facade face.
the whole face, or does it have,
It doesn't define it, it's nebulous. So if I had to define it myself, I'd say the facade is the entire face.
of the four, like the four units? The one would be the whole,
The 4 sides or the 4 units?
Well, each unit is not an individual building, it's one facade.
So all 4 sides
I
of
would
it.
say it's all units.
the front,
The
like,
front of all units,
Right.
and then
You're saying the front,
yeah.
just the front?
Well, facade is face.
Face.
It
Well,
doesn't
there's a
say
face on the north,
four-sided.
there's a face on the east, there's a face on the south, there's a face on the west.
Well, does it say four-sided facades?
It says facades, which to me would include all the whole thing's that got a facade on it.
It might be something we need to clarify
yeah,
in the future.
Yeah, we go back and look at,
Well, what's your default? What are you saying the default is?
I would say the default is the facade.
Based on what though? From who and who's
I would
defining
say
that?
from the language in the code.
I don't see it defining northeast, southwest, or,
Exactly.
right? So it's up to us to say what a facade is then, right?
well, the Oxford Dictionary says it's the face of a building, especially the principal front that looks onto a street or open space. I mean, that's one definition.
Right. That's what I'm asking you back though, with the definition of facade. I mean, if it's the backside of it, it still has a facade. If it's concrete, it's still, that's the face of it.
Yeah, another definition says it the same way, it's the face, what's facing the public way.
So is the back not public?
No,
Why? You
Because
can't
there's no
drive down the
public.
back of a building?
because there's no public highway or public
well, it's an
right-of-way.
alley, or, I don't know.
So
it's-
you can't drive down the back of a,
You could, but it's not a public, I mean, you may, but unless there's a public street back there, and they don't double front.
Although these are private streets
Yeah.
in the townhomes. That'll be a
From a planning perspective, and based on your experience, How would you define facade?
Facade is the front face. That's how I would define it. I'm looking up to see if our code defines facade.
Probably not.
Probably not. But are we going to have townhomes that back to the main road? I guess we'll wait for the applicant. I'm trying to see,
We don't want to get too far ahead of us here.
yeah.
If I go to Park City, you look at those buildings that are built there on those avenues, you drive down the backs of those all the time. Is there a wall between the building and the back? I mean, I'm just suggesting back to you that after these guys are gone, Morgan County sits with what we've agreed on. And if it's something that doesn't stand up to the weather, then I guess it's back on the owner of the property, but it just seems like it would be easy to fix.
Well, it looks like the front of them face the main road.
Yeah, I'm just thinking back to this conversation. From what I remember was we were talking about the front. From my recollection, the conversation was the front of the building needs to be at least 51%. I think to Mountain Green, the developments over the past 10 years, the front is always a mixed, rock and
I can clarify.
fiberboard or something like that, but the back and sides are all stucco.
Actually, our code talks about all four sides. I
Okay.
thought I had read that. It says architectural standards in the section that you called out. It says the design of a building shall be considered on all sides of the building with each facade being required to meet the terms of this section. So every facade would have to be 51% of the materials that are allowed and 49% may be alternative materials.
Each side?
facade. Each side.
So what Steve is saying.
That's correct. It is defined in our code.
All four
Look at
sides.
you go.
I didn't know that.
But
I have no credit there.
But it's not in the definitions, it's in the code part.
It's in the actual
Code part, okay.
Okay. I'm just trying to figure, okay, what was our original intention? So our intention was we want design standards in town center that are coherent. So, and for some reason we put in here, hey, we want 51% mixed material because we don't want all stucco, I think is kind of what we were looking at. So in 4 it says, sorry. Building materials, the majority of each facade, you're saying is each side, our code says each side.
That's what the code says.
The majority of each facade, 51% or more of the wall area, excluding windows and doors, shall be constructed of the following hard surface building materials: brick, stone, treated or split-face decorative block CMU, fiber cement, siding and panels, wood, concrete, or other durable material as approved by the Planning Commission. Stucco, EIFS, or untreated concrete block may be allowed by the Planning Commission as an accent or secondary material only. So even the may here says that we may have it allowed as a secondary material only, which would still put it in the 49%.
That's correct.
Okay.
Or we could, or less, say, we only want 30% or
Yeah.
something.
I'm just trying to get the code straight in
Yeah.
my mind for what we're allowed to make a recommendation on. So we can, it shall be 51% on all four sides, 5 sides. It shall be on all 4 sides, 51% of these materials. We can approve the 49%. We may consider the 49%
Use stucco.
use stucco. As a secondary material only, so the 49%. Okay,
An accent.
got it, as an accent. All right, so now back to the application. So what is the actual ask here? I guess we can ask the applicant that. So the applicant is asking us to exercise that may.
Yep.
Okay. I'm getting hung up here, I apologize, but. Okay. I don't have any other questions for staff, do you guys? Let's get into the minutia of details of 49% secondary materials.
Secondary and accent?
Secondary and accent materials. So what's the ask?
Yeah, Chase Freebrand representing CW or in CW land. Yeah, so I think Josh did a great job explaining what we're asking is number one, site plan approval, which it sounds like should have been done much earlier, but we're coming back to do the site plan approval. And then also we're asking about basically the materials in front of you in attachment C, page 38 and 39. Just are these materials satisfactory to the planning commission, and we feel like we want to offer an attractive product that we can be proud of, the neighbors can be proud of, homeowners can be proud of. We're not trying to come in and do all stucco, and nobody wants all stucco, including myself. And we're not Arizona. But we have a mix of lap siding, concrete, stucco, board and batten, which is the board and batten and the lap siding are both a fiber cement product, usually commonly known as Hardy board. There's some other brands, but it's that consistent kind of fiber cement product that's installed and painted. And then in addition to that, there's some brick and of course asphalt shingles and concrete. So we don't want stucco to be dominant here, and as I'm sure the county doesn't either, but we feel like we can still use stucco to have an accent to complement the project without it being too dominant and too stucco-y, if there's such a word.
There is now.
And you haven't computed how much is going to be stucco, what percent?
Our architects have drawn this following the county code. I can't tell you
Okay.
exactly the percentage of each facade right now. I'm happy to look into that more closely, but I think really I guess it comes down to, do you like the product we're proposing? Yes, no, or something in between that we could do that would be satisfactory. But like I said, we want to build an attractive product. These are high-end, nice townhomes that we plan to sell, and we wouldn't be able to sell nice townhomes if they were all stucco, in my opinion. So we like having a mix. We like having something that complements different materials and shows dimensions. And I'm not a design expert, but I personally looks attractive to me. But
Yeah, I'm looking at the picture examples. There's a lot coming back to me
What we did?
for the painstaking process we went through developing these architectural standards. And if you look at these pictures, there is no stucco as an accent. So we'd have to be very careful if we did, because if we did, so the code says that, hey, no stucco as an accent. Everything on all four sides has got to be 51% primary and then a secondary material. But the planning commission may consider stucco as a secondary. But if we say, yes, you can, then regardless of what your intent is, all the buildings could end up with 49% stucco. If we just make that recommendation that, yeah, we make a recommendation that you approve stucco, and down the road, they would have, if the county commission approved it, they would have the right for 49% of each building to be.
The county commission doesn't make that decision. The code says the
Us.
planning commission makes.
So we're making a decision, not a recommendation on
That's why I
that.
separated out into two motions.
Gotcha.
You have one motion, which is a recommendation for the site plan to county commission, and then the other motion is to approve with conditions, or deny the use of stucco as a material.
Okay. So that one rests with us. So the site plan's one. We're having a discussion about the stucco right now, so we'll separate the two. So just again, be clear with the code, no stucco is allowed with as a secondary, primary or secondary material. Planning Commission may approve the use of stucco as a secondary.
Or other things as well. I mean, it wasn't just stucco.
Yeah, it wasn't just stucco, it was those other,
Whatever they are.
the other two things in there, sorry. So clearly our intent was, let me go back here, sorry. Clearly our intent was that shall be constructed with the following hard surface materials: brick, stone, CMU, fiberboard, cement and panels, wood, concrete, or other durable building materials, or other durable materials as approved by the planning commission. So they come with us with a site plan, it's got stucco on it, and it says stucco, I'm not sure what EIFS is, I can't remember. Do you know what that is?
The what?
EIFS?
I always thought that was stucco, but I don't know.
It's the same thing, just a different brand.
We need Shane, this is where we need Shane.
Or untreated concrete block.
I'm probably giving stucco a bad name. I don't, the stucco I've seen, the synthetic stucco, they're actually decent
My
products.
whole neighborhood
but
is stucco.
I don't want to get hung
the
up on
facade is
stucco.
not,
I'm saying
but
back.
the rest is.
Yeah, I just don't read where it's 4951. I guess in a technical legal sense it would be, but it says other materials.
Other materials.
So I'm not sure why Josh thinks it's 49%. It's probably legalese, but,
No, because it says the majority of each facade, so each side, the majority of each side,
which is 51.
right, has to be constructed of
Those.
of those things. And then it goes on to say, then it says, so separate thought, stucco may be allowed as an accent or secondary material only.
And I,
So where's
accent,
the-
I just think of a little bit.
So where's the 49% on that statement, on that wording? I don't get that.
Just the.
What's
um,
left after 51, I
what's
guess,
left after
but
51. 51% has to be this material.
Read the last part again, if you wouldn't mind,
Yeah,
please.
yeah. I'll read the whole
Stucco.
thing if that's good. So just for my own clarity. So building materials, the majority of each facade, 51% or more of the wall, excluding windows and doors, shall be constructed of the following hard surface building materials: brick, stone, treated or split-face decorative block, CMU, fiber cement, siding and panels, wood, concrete, or other durable building material as approved by the planning commission. So that's just a statement on its own. It just says 51% of the building has to be built out of this stuff. That's just boom, there's no moving on that. And then it says, next sentence, says the planning commission, it says stucco, we'll just stick with stucco, that's what we're talking about. Stucco may be allowed by the planning commission as an accent or secondary material
So
only.
see, right in that wording,
Yeah.
I don't get 49%. I don't see where that is 40, it's as an accent. Accent is not 49%.
percent, right.
But it doesn't just say accent.
It says secondary though.
And secondary.
Or secondary.
Yeah, so if you have a primary 51%, I'm assuming that the rest has to be secondary / accent, a combination of secondary and accent. That's where I was getting.
So anyways, the
There's our other builder.
EIFS,
Yeah.
it's just another word for stucco.
Oh.
They use an insulated foam on the outside.
Oh, okay.
That's just the difference. I thought that's what it was, but I had to make sure.
Good. So that's where I'm getting, because, so basically they can come to us and change the 51%. The 51%'s got to be made of this. What they're asking for is for what's left as a secondary material, can we use stucco, is the ask. Vision in here to say, hey, if you want to use stucco, you need to specifically come to us. And I would also add that this is the only area that this applies to. So it's like we have this discussion because we were very specific about town center and what exact materials we wanted and the architecture we wanted. So we put it in there to say, look, if you want stucco, you got to come to us and show us why and what it looks like and all that. And
See, there's a conflict in the statements to me, because they're saying 49% can be stucco. Why are they here to ask us then?
It says it has to. We have to approve
51%,
stucco.
51, yeah. That's what I'm
Unless they
saying.
use- if
So
they-
we, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
It's saying that the 49% can be made from other durable material as approved by the planning commission.
Right.
But then it says specifically stucco, EIFS, or untreated concrete block. I mean, that's, sorry, sometimes I get words from British English and American English mixed up. Concrete block, what's it called?
Cinder blocks.
Thank you. They call it breeze block in England.
Oh,
so I
cinder
could-
block.
Breeze block, yeah. So untreated concrete block is cinder block, right? So they're saying.
Big box stores usually do the
Yeah.
cinder block and then they paint over it.
Yeah.
Right. So they're saying, so we were saying here, fiber cement, wood, concrete, or other durable material approved by the planning commission, but stucco and concrete block may be allowed as an accent or a secondary material only. So there's two categories, accent or secondary material. So we could, my interpretation of this is we could say, yeah, you can use this as an accent, and we're going to interpret that as 25% of the facade.
Okay, of each facade.
Or we could say, you could approve it, yeah, we approve it as a secondary material, which would be 49%. I think that's what our options are. Josh?
Yeah.
There's two words there, right? Accent or
Or,
Or secondary.
secondary. So we put it in there, they're coming to ask us, hey, can we use stucco? And we can say, yeah, you can use it as an accent, which is specifically this, or yes, you can use it as a secondary material, but not as a primary. What's the difference between 49 and 51%? I don't know anybody.
There's not much
Anybody with the naked
difference.
eye will tell, but.
and I'd like the garage doors to go all the way to the ground, but that's just me. No, the rendering.
Yes. That's the frost, the heave frost.
Have to get a running start to
Yeah.
make it in there. No, that's,
Yeah, I wondered about that one. I
Yeah.
built the house too, I'm like, no, that's the frost.
well,
Footings.
Footing,
yeah, underground.
But the front of the garage always goes
It-
down even deeper than the footings, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
the concrete pokes up a little bit, you
Yeah.
can see the couple feet usually of concrete, so.
But the door
Okay.
itself goes, no.
So I'm just focusing on the second half since we're having such a lengthy discussion. So
Okay.
what do you guys think about this? So, I mean,
I'm
my
more-
thoughts are, we put it in there for a reason because we were like, we don't want stucco kingdoms.
Right.
But it's a durable building material. I mean, it's got homes throughout the county, so I'm not like opposed to stucco or EIFS. But we did put it in there because we didn't want too much of it. So I think we should clearly define, yes, yes or no, we approve you to use it as a secondary or an accent with this percentage. Not to exceed this percentage or something like that.
I need more accent. Because like you say, if it's 49%, it's,
Yeah, because when I look at these
Equal,
buildings,
equal.
we were very particular about how we put these buildings in here, and there's no, even on this one that we argued about at length for the
yeah.
metal roof.
So Gary, you mentioned that this would be the only one that we would have to worry about this on. Why is that?
Because we put these design standards for town center, and they're the only ones developing in town center.
Okay.
Right now.
Yeah, there could potentially be, but anything south that's in town center is already in a development agreement,
Right.
so these architectural standards wouldn't apply. The only time it would apply is we've got one other zone, I think, the Smith zone just to the west, right?
We rezoned Eldridge.
yeah,
Yeah, there's
that's
a couple
town
other
center.
small parcels.
So, do you think it's prudent to change the wording on this before the next application?
I don't think so.
If we think
because-
there's a problem, I mean, if you think
I don't
too
really
much soft.
think there is. I can't imagine him doing the whole thing in stucco
No,
anyway.
well,
But
Well, even the 49, that's too much, the 49.
Yeah, 49%, even if they don't end up doing that, they can. If we say, yeah, you can have it as a secondary material. And we specifically said, you need planning commission. We specifically said, we have to have this discussion if you want to put stucco on there, for some reason. So I think you know, we just define it as, yes, you can have it as an accent, and the percentage is 25% or 30% or something like that.
Right, that's kind of where I'm leaving.
And then you can take it back to your, because then that puts it back on the table for, you know, if you got a shorter side, then you can use stucco on the bottom as an accent, or,
I'd go along with that, I have no problem with that.
just to be specific. And then if they wanted to make changes, they could come back, right?
But we don't have to come back here, but we would just, as part of our building application, you would just
Be
validate,
conditioned?
ensure we're meeting.
Unless you wanted like
Unless you wanted,
more than
Unless you wanted
whatever
it
we make a
changed.
recommendation for, yeah.
I would need you to put a table on that defines the percentages.
So I don't want to be arbitrary, but 49% is basically half the building. And I think we specifically didn't want that. So I would think, you know, half of that is probably too little. It doesn't give them enough flexibility, maybe 30%. You know, we approve stucco as a accent, as a accent material, maximum of 30% of each facade. What do you guys think about that?
That's fine with me, yeah. I doubt they'll even come close to that.
I don't think so either, but they won't get anywhere close to 50% if you say 30, so it'll just kind of reduce it a little bit. Reduce its stucco-ness. It's a word now.
We've invented a word.
Yeah?
I'm good.
Does that make sense to you?
So essentially, you're changing it from the 49 optional stucco as a secondary to the 30%.
To 30.
As an accent material.
Okay, so how about we jump back so we don't get too far out of order? The original line item here is for the site plan, which I want to say we saw, we just haven't actually formalized the decision on the site plan. Because it was part of concept, basically.
There was no formal site plan application.
Right.
There was no lighting plan.
Oh.
Right.
And you found that despite the comments, you've got it, and site plan's there, or excuse me, lighting plan is there.
The landscape plan had not been finalized,
Okay.
so this review was for the landscape plan, the lighting plan, as well as verifying that the parking was accounted for.
Okay, any questions on the site plan? No? So how about we take a motion on the site plan first?
I'll make a motion.
Okay?
I move we recommend approval to the county commission, the Rome Town Site Plan Application 22.060, following the proposed town home plats located at 4950 West Old Highway Road in unincorporated Morgan County to be recorded based on the findings and with the conditions listed in the staff report dated October 27, 2022.
Okay, we have a motion for a positive recommendation. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
And a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous? Motion passes. Second part of that, application to use stucco in the design standards. Want to take a motion on that?
You know, let me
Yeah.
just add one thing. I can't imagine anybody really doing it, but stucco to me is different than the IFS. We should probably make that designation, in my opinion, because they can, as far as I know, stucco can be defined as like cement stucco, which would be put on a wall without the foam and all of that. I don't know if it's worth it. That's just my
Would-
2 cents on it.
What do you think,
Yeah,
Dustin?
I mean, yeah, from my understanding, yeah, stucco can be just like a hard scratch coat. It can go over most anything, but then, yeah, the EIFS is a foam, which I know they had problems with in the past where birds could kind of start pecking at it and poke
Making
in it,
holes,
so
yeah.
They kind of went away from that and did the scratch coat.
So you want to be specific to stucco?
That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't want to color your opinions.
No,
I
well,
just-
there's three things there, so I
So
think we were
we'll-
just saying stucco anyway, and you're asking for stucco, right?
Correct.
Okay,
And so we should just call it stucco.
we'll just call it stucco. Because our code defines it as EIFS as something other than stucco.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
Okay.
So we
Yeah, so
want,
we'll just make sure we use the word stucco.
Okay.
I'm with you. Okay, so a motion on this one?
okay, Mr. Chair, I move to approve the Rome Townhomes proposed use of stucco as a building material as detailed within application number 22.060, and for the project located at 4950 West Old Highway Road in unincorporated Morgan County, based on the findings and with the conditions listed in the staff report dated October 27, 2022, with the following condition: that stucco can be used as an accent material with a maximum of 30% on each facade.
Good. Okay, motion, we have a second?
I'll second it.
Motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous, motion passes. All right, thank you. All right, item number 8. Not a lot to say this week either, huh? Okay. Just kind of wait till we have a full house again, okay.
Can I ask a quick question on
Yeah.
the area plans? Are you going to want representation from the area plans to present their changes? Or do you just want me to present it?
I don't think we need them. If they want to come, they'll probably be in the meeting, but no, I think you just present it to the rest of us.
Okay, all right.
I think that's fine.
How's it going?
Good. We've had 2 meetings. They want to have another one on the 1st of November. There's good participation.
You look like a good group in there when I
Yeah.
poke my head in.
Cool. How about Corden, anything?
I still haven't got started yet, waiting for some more applications. I got one more from Austin Turner, but was waiting one more so I could have at least 5. I've had a couple people tell me they were, and they just hadn't got the application in. So.
Okay, good. And then Shane was getting ready to get started
Yeah,
a couple weekends ago, or a couple meetings ago, rather.
I talked with him yesterday, and it sounds like they were having a meeting this week sometime.
Good. Very good. And then nothing new from Mountain Green, so, or Peterson.
I have a quick question, just for my own personal interest. On the sewer systems for Wasatch Peaks, do they have to have that in place before they start putting in residences? How's that work?
They won't get a building permit until they have sewer.
Actually, they can get a building permit.
I mean, yeah,
Occupancy.
they can't
Right,
put
so-
certificate of occupancy.
If they post the bond for the complete amount of the improvements cost, they can record and sell the lots. And those lot owners can receive building permits to begin construction without the utilities being completely constructed. They won't get a CFO though until they have utility service. My understanding is some of those homes are gonna take a couple of years to build, so they have time to get the sewer in. I know they posted bonds in the total amount.
I was just kind of curious how that worked. I wasn't sure, so thank you. When is the sewer supposed to, you're going to take it underneath the river and underneath the highway, is that correct?
Mountain Green,
No?
Mountain Green Sewer District is, I'm not on that anymore, but I've been following it. They've gotten money from the county and from the state, and I think they're going out for a bond from capital improvement board. But that's all moving forward right now.
That's for the mechanical.
The upgrade.
membrane
But
bioreactor.
that does include I think they're getting payment from Wasatch Peaks for the improvements going under all of that,
Yeah. That's amazing to me that,
that they would do that.
yeah, I honestly would have expected to have septic up there, but they wanted sewer for everything. That's,
And they could have done a mechanical plant on their side.
yeah.
So just out of curiosity, do you know when that will be installed or when it will be in place?
I don't know, I know they're moving forward with it, and they've got stuff in place down to the riverside. But I don't know when they're,
Because the Mountain Green plant was scheduled for, was it 2025 to be complete, was it? I'm thinking back when I was on the board.
fast with the funding.
Pardon?
They've been moving pretty fast with the funding.
Yeah.
Although they don't really have public meetings. They're just all Zoom.
Really? Interesting. Maybe that's what we should start doing. No. They, so, just for my history, when I was on there, they had been planning for the mechanical plant to do away with the upgrade from the lagoon system, just for Mountain Green for years. And then when Wasatch Peaks came in and they were able to go with something with larger capacity, obviously, so it helped with the cost and some of that, but then Wasatch Peaks also had to bond for all that pipe to come all the way down across the river and over to the Mountain Green plant. I think when I was on it, that we were talking about the lagoons being possibly converted into like a secondary water treatment or something like that, where they could sell back and have a secondary water source or whatever. I think it's probably within the next year or two, but it'll be, the short answer is you can't move into a house until it's all hooked up, so all the stuff's got to be happening simultaneously.
Have they started building over there yet? Any residences?
We've reviewed two housing plans so far. One of the houses was more than 11,000 square feet in size, and that permit was almost 40 grand. And the other one was a little bit smaller than that. So we're reviewing the plans right now.
It's all affordable housing. Relative, right?
It depends on who's affording it.
It's affordable. Interesting. Okay. So I think that takes care of area plans. What about business staff questions?
I don't have anything.
Okay.
Introduce Mikkel.
Yeah, you don't have anybody to introduce to us?
She knows everybody in the county already. I've tried to.
We just met. I don't think we can.
Oh, I know them already. This is Mikkel. She was hired last Friday. She started on Monday.
Okay. So you still, you're hiring for Planner 1 still, you still got an open?
We're still hiring for Planner 2 senior
Planner 2, gotcha.
Although we might go down to Planner 1 if the right candidate
Gotcha.
doesn't have the other experience.
So just you two in the office now?
And
Dave.
Webster.
And Dave. All right, good luck with that.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Gonna need it.
This is pretty, these are really good meetings. You haven't had a county commission meeting yet. Is this your first
Yeah,
meeting?
I went to one of the county commission just for a short time, but yeah, this
Oh, okay.
is my first time.
Good. No, it's pretty, yeah, we enjoy it, so, welcome. And we have Christmas coming, I want to bring that up. I mean, we're getting closer than we think, and with Bailey not being here, she's normally the one that starts talking about that, so maybe we should start considering what we want to do for Christmas, whether we normally just have a little dinner or something in here, and because you weren't here last year either, so. FYI, normally we have like a Christmas get-together kind of thing in there. We bring our families and we
Spouses.
Yeah, sometimes our whole family.
You don't want my whole family.
Yeah. Hope he does these kids.
Yeah, so we normally have it in there with in conjunction with our closest meeting in December, right, to Christmas.
You choose that first meeting in
It's normally
December.
the first meeting in December. So just FYI, and then,
They also get some kind of gift of some sort.
Yeah, the county normally buys some kind of thing.
Doesn't have to, yeah, that's,
Yeah, we don't have to.
you don't need that stress.
But we, yeah, but if you have the budget for it, we don't want you to not use it either, because we get Morgan County swag, you know? We've got jackets and we had masks, remember that? We were all
Yeah.
upset about that, don't give me a mask.
Jerseys.
What's that?
They were jerseys.
The
Yeah.
T-shirt, yeah, with the,
Yeah. Coffee cups,
well, yeah.
Morgan County swag. iPads.
Yeah.
I don't think that was a possibility. But we're all gonna have to chip in and help with that, so we might wanna bring that to the planning commission again next time, just so we can all figure out what to do, and I'm sure Tina remembers who we can call, and I don't know. Because there was like certain people that catered and it was always cheap, and it was just a kind of a good time. I hate to not do that and carry that tradition on, because it's always good fun. Plus, we,
And they kind of use the same decorations year after year. The table decorations are somewhere. They pull them
Yeah.
out and,
we don't really show up and figure it out. We do, like, one year we did like, we had a year of like, everything was an Office pun. So the whole year we were just cutting up about the episodes of The Office, and so we did like buzzword bingo for planning commission that year, and, so we're all kind of, since we're all kind of a new team, it might be fun for us to do something just to kind of get to know each other or something.
Yeah.
I'm an introvert, so don't ask me, I don't like doing any of that. No, serious, no. But, yeah, we'll make it fun, we'll do something. And then, we do have some people who, it's not till March, terms end in March, right? So there's a couple people
The end
coming.
of February,
End of February,
yeah.
a couple people are coming due for, whether or not they're gonna stay in the planning commission, or whether or not we gotta start asking for applications. I think it's me and Chris, right, this year? We'll have to
yeah.
look, but I think
Okay.
me and Chris's terms are coming to an end this year. So it's time to start thinking if there's other people that want to apply or whatever.
Okay.
All right. And then, number 10, planning commission minutes, we don't have yet. Why? We got started, I mean. So we'll just approve those next time, so we'll move on from that.
Okay.
All right. Just waiting for a motion to adjourn. Normally Shane just says so moved and we move on, so.
So moved.
Second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. Almost a record. And we had good discussion.